Inflation, your savings' biggest enemy, and here's how to beat it. Meet Sharma ji. He loves his morning walks and never forgets to drink his favorite masala chai at the street corner. He's been drinking chai at the same chai wala since 1980. No wonder he proudly regales stories of how the tea was sold at just ₹2 when he first started drinking tea at the shop. Of course, how over the years the price of chai has risen and the cup has shrunk, thanks to inflation. So, what is inflation? Inflation, in simple words, refers to the rise in the price of product and services over time. It affects every aspect of life: food, clothing, education, homes, travel, healthcare, gadgets, etc. For instance, if your monthly expense for groceries, maintenance bills and leisure is about ₹30,000 in 2020, it won't be enough to meet the expenses 5 years from now. So, if we assume a 7% rate of inflation, you will need about ₹42,000 in 2025, ₹59,000 in 2030 and ₹1,16,000 in 2040. But before you brush this aside with the simple logic that prices tend to rise over time, consider this. Is your income increasing at the same rate, if not faster? Yes? No? Sometimes? If your answer is a no or sometimes, then unlike Sharma ji, you won't be able to indulge in your favorites the same way. You will soon be faced with serious questions. What will I have to give up to prevent going into debt? How will rising costs change my lifestyle? And if these issues occur while you still have a job, can you even imagine the struggle after you retire, especially if you rely solely on what you save? Inflation can be your savings' biggest enemy, but it doesn't need to. Be like Sharma ji, who managed inflation by choosing investment solutions that potentially offered higher returns. He wasn't a financial wizard. He didn't do any investment mumbo-jumbo. All it took was a little planning and some discipline. He invested a small amount every month throughout his career in investment options that returned more than the rate of inflation. Some SIPs in mutual fund schemes, asset allocation moves, and voila! You, like Sharma ji, can enjoy your chai throughout your life. You may consult your investment advisor to make sure your investments grow faster than the rate of inflation. An investor education and awareness initiative of Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
For over 140 years, we have partnered India's growth story. A journey with humble beginnings, marked by a meeting of few traders, is today symbolized by a tower that stands for India's glowing financial markets. BSE. Experience the new.
Hello and welcome to the Chennai semi-finals of BLoC Boardroom Challenge 2022. I am Srimati Sridharan. BLoC Boardroom Challenge, a unique competition for B schoolers, has 3 levels: a preliminary round, a semi-finals across 8 cities, and a grand finale. The online tests in the prelims assessed students' decision-making skills and ability to work in teams. Now in the semi-finals, the students will get a chance to meet and compete with the best minds from top B schools across the country and present these strategies. And the teams that make it to the finals will showcase these skills by solving a live corporate case. Now without further ado, let's jump right into the semi-finals. I request Mr. Vinay Kamath, Senior Associate Editor at the Hindu Businessline and Editor of BLoC, to take over.
Welcome all to BLoC Boardroom Challenge 2022. The unique case challenge for B schoolers is in its 6th year. In the first year of the challenge in 2017, LIBA Chennai was the winner, followed by ISB Hyderabad in 2018 and IIM Ranchi in 2019. SIBM Pune won the contest in 2020 while IIM Shillong won it in 2021. Till the 2019 edition, the semi-final rounds of the contest was held in 8 cities at B schools which hosted the event. The preliminary round in all the previous years has always been online, where students are administered a psychometric test to assess their decision-making skills and ability to work in teams. The grand finale, where B schools which won city-specific semi-finals competed for the grand prize, has been held in Chennai. From the year 2020, keeping in mind the safety of the students and others involved in this contest during the pandemic, it has been conducted entirely online, including the semi-final rounds and the finals as well. This year too, we are conducting the event online. Semi-finals case will test the participating teams on the knowledge of finance, marketing and strategy, and the decision-making skills and ability to work in teams, while the case for the finals will test the teams on the knowledge of the financial sector. It will again be a unique event with technology overcoming the challenge the pandemic has brought about. May the best team win the 2022 BLoC Boardroom Challenge.
Thank you, Mr. Vinay Kamath, for the lovely introduction. I now invite Ms. Akshaya Chandrasekharan to introduce the jury.
K.S. Rao is the Senior Vice President and Head, Investor Education and Distribution Development, Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC Limited. Led by his passion for financial literacy, Mr. Rao conceptualized and introduced many of the now successful programs such as Nivesh Mahakumbh, a mass investor education initiative, Fauji Nivesh, a customized workshop for defense personnel, Nivesh Pathshala, amongst others. He was also instrumental in introducing digital initiatives such as Investors Hangout, Friday Finance, Mutually Yours Podcast, Smart Selfie and Mutual Fund Assist, as well as developing unique modules such as My First Paycheck, My First Finance Lesson, amongst others. Under his leadership, Samriddhi, the AMC's in-house magazine for train passengers, was launched and has since reached out to more than 50 lakh readers. He is an alumnus of IIM Calcutta and holds an MBA in finance. He is a certified chartered wealth manager from American Academy of Financial Management and holds postgraduate diplomas in portfolio management and international business. He is also a certified coach from NLI. Vishwadeep Koila is the founder director at Brand Vectors and comes with more than 2 decades of experience in the areas of advertising and communication and FMCG marketing. He is an engineer and a PGDM from Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. Before starting Brand Vectors, he has worked with BBDO, Lintas and Mudra Communications in client servicing and account planning and has handled a host of clients like Ponds, Fun School, Shaw Wallace, Henkel, Ashok Leyland, besides a host of retail clients. After his stint in advertising, he had a long association with Reynolds for over 12 years where he played a pivotal role in shaping the brand to become a household name in the writing instruments and stationery category. As his last assignment before starting Brand Vectors, he was the CEO of Oriental Cuisines Private Limited, a private equity-funded restaurants and bakery and cafe company on expansion mode. He brings to table immense experience in all areas of marketing with a sense of business objectives owing to his stints as CEO and president in various organizations. Lokeshwari currently heads the Businessline's data vertical. She is also an op-ed columnist commenting on financial markets, equity, fixed income and forex, macroeconomy, policies and regulations. She has been tracking equity markets, analyzing stock movements for over 3 decades. She headed the BL Research Bureau between 2013 and 2020, where she was responsible for the weekly investment supplement portfolio that gives investment advice and wealth management ideas to readers. A chartered certified accountant, she began her career with KPMG Mauritius. Shivakumar, more known as SK, is an associate certified coach from International Coach Federation. He is also a neuroscience certified coach, certified practitioner of the Global Leadership 360 Assessment Tool, and Carl Jung Concept Certified Coach, POSH Certified, and Thomas Profiling Certified. He has 30+ years of rich experience across manufacturing, servicing, IT, ITES, hospitality industries and change management, leadership and strategy management, HR, learning and development. SK also facilitates sessions on leadership, behavioral, soft skills apart from mentoring young minds.
Thank you, Akshaya. Let us introduce the case study the teams will be tackling. What should be the growth strategy for Environmental Technologies Private Limited? As senior strategy consultants, chart a 5-year path for Envirotech, suggesting what kind of markets, products and investors will help the company maximize stakeholder value. The teams will be marked for 50 points by each jury member. The team with the highest total wins. Here goes the breakup. Understanding of case, 10 points. Case analysis, 15 points. Solution, 10 points. Presentation, 10 points. And teamwork, 5 points. I now invite team 1 to present their case solution.
Morning. Morning.
Morning and
Morning.
Shit.
I hope I am audible clearly.
Yes.
Yes.
First of all, sir, I would like to apologize that one of my team members has been busy with some other acquaintance, so she could not be part of this strategy meeting.
Okay.
So
No problem.
So I would like to take forward the presentation as well. So with your permission, I would really like to start.
So you are a two-member team, is it?
Yes, sir. She actually is busy with some other acquaintance, so she could not be part of this
Okay.
today.
So you can handle it yourself.
Yes, sir. I am confident I can handle it.
Okay. Okay. So just to introduce you to the jury members, we have Mr. K.S. Rao of the Aditya Birla Group. And then we have Mr. Vishwadeep Koila, who set the case for today.
Hi.
And he's his
sir.
own marketing consultancy, Brand Vectors. We have Ms. Lokeshwari, who heads the data vertical in Businessline. And we have
Nice to meet you, ma'am.
Kumar, who's an executive coach.
Thank
Right.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, you can go ahead and share your.
Sir, before I just start, I just want to thank sir for giving this awesome case. I just love this case presentation. I mean, this case has been really, heart-touching for me. And being a B school student, getting this type of case is really, I just love this case, sir. So thank you again.
The proof of the pudding will be in your presentation.
I
Yeah.
hope so, sir. I hope so,
Right.
sir.
Okay, go
Okay.
ahead.
Thank you, sir. So I just start with ETPL. Introducing ETPL. The ETPL, or Environment Technologies Private Limited, has been founded by the three-member. It is a three-member founder company, and the main core competencies of this company has always been the 100% biodegradable product, which is both for nature and for human society as well. So now the company has three verticals. Initially, they started with the textile verticals, then they moved to the pulp and paper vertical, and later they also started the consumer products. So I'll just know what is the strategies should be for the next 5 years. So as per the company, as per the case that has been presented to me, the first thing the strategy should be, we should tap only the Indian household market and not go for the expansion, because for certain reasons, because the export products is not well known, the outer market is not well known to us. We have already been part of the Indian market, so we know how the Indian market is behaving. Also, the eco-friendly products has been really tapped by the Indian markets. The consumers are loving it, and the cost is not as per the competitors. Competitors are concerned, the cost is not that much. So we should always go for that. The strategies also should be that we should tie up more with the Amazon. Already they have done the Amazon, the Flipkart, and all those. We should also go and tie up more, become the primary customer for them, so that we can explore the more options for the promotions and get the first hand the products which will be displayed on the items. For whenever people will be opening and searching for this product, should be our primary products for the ETPL to get the best benefit of the e-service, e-giants. Now the next question was, should the with this target has been, the objective that is set will be achievable for the company or not. So the objective, establish the consumer brand ProWord was the first objective, and whether it would be achievable or not. Definitely, I think that is a achievable objective, because with the implementation of the previous strategies that I've already mentioned, that create eco-friendly products, compete better marketing segment, this will be really a challenging one as well, but it will give us the upper hand compared to our competitors, and we will definitely achieve the target, as far I believe is a fact. Now moving on to the market tapping, whether we should go for the market, outside market, or the Indian market. As far I am concerned, at this moment, we should not go for the outside market, and we should already focus on the Indian market, exhaust it completely. There's certain reasons that I believe that the Indian market should be given the utmost priority, is that we have already a base. We are already performing in the Indian market, so we know we understand the market better than the competitors, as even if not better than the competitors, we understand the market quite well. And we had a portfolio over the spread across the Indian market, especially in Chennai. We have a e-delivery system also. So I think we should expose that. We should explore more that, and we should already go for. And going for the outside market, if you think of the outside market, we need to prepare a go-to-market strategy. We need to check whether the feasibility is there or not. We should also get the funds requirement might go up or down. We don't know. So there are certain uncertainties as of now, and the company is growing. The company is developing. So I think the best approach would be only for going for the Indian market as on the next 5 years. Next, going for the products. So there are two options obviously given. The first is the industrial product as well as the consumer product. So I believe we should not only focus on one single type of product, and we should go for industrial as well as the consumer product. The reason behind this is already, if you just look on that, we already have a 25% of the total products in India for industrial. The total Indian industrial products of the 25% is acquired by us. And there is an emerging vertical for the consumer product. And the best benefit we have, though we are going for the bio-friendly, eco-friendly products, 15 to 20%, the products are only 15 to 20% expensive than the regular products, and which is much cheaper than the other biodegradable products. So which is really affecting the customers while buying that. They can go for the eco-friendly products as well, and they don't have to pay the high amount that the other companies then for the buying the other companies' products they need to pay. And going for the time frame, I think we are looking at the 5-year picture definitely, but we should target these products within the next 3 years so that we can have the profit within the next 2 years, and we can look for another products or another development or going for the foreign markets in the next 2 years, getting the fund acquired. Now the last part is that whether we should go for the financial investors or the strategic investors. For me, it has always been the financial investors. The reason behind is simple. We get the better valuation products. The strategic investors are giving us almost like 20% lower valuation. I think at this moment we need the money more. We have the implementation. The consumers are accepting the products to the high level. So I think and moreover, I think the global expansion we are not planning, right? So if we are not planning for the global expansion, why go for the strategy? Because it is clearly mentioned in the case that strategic investors will give a global benefit. So at this moment, we are not looking for that. We are looking for getting the money, and we don't have to dilute the stakes also. So we can acquire the stakes back. We can buy back the shares. So this is the reason I think we should always go for the financial investors at this moment. And later on at the stage, we can go for strategic investors, or we can do it ourselves when we enter the foreign market. That's all from my answer. I just want to say if any questions you have regarding that.
I think I understand that your colleague has not joined you, so you're not having a presentation, right? So
I had the presentation, but it was just split up with both of us, so it's become too fast.
I understand. You kind of crunched the presentation to a great extent.
But I hope, sir, I made the points clear which I was trying to make it.
Fair enough. Whatever you have done is fine. I'm not saying anything on this thing. What I basically am trying to say is to have more detail or something. But I understand your predicament. Vishi?
I think the thing is you made certain recommendations on this, but it's very difficult to judge any recommendations without support of numbers behind. So it as a company, if somebody presents to us saying, okay, you should do this, and the first question is, show me the numbers. Why should I do this? Where are the numbers to do this? So, and that needs to be very important. I mean, unless that is seen, we will it will be a very academic exercise. So I was very excited when you said wonderful case for a business school to be given. So I was thinking you would have done so much of analysis on this this case is wonderful only if you go into the numbers. Otherwise, it's another, you can just give qualitative input. So it doesn't turn out, once you go into the actual numbers and really look at those, where to increase, where to decrease, where to delay, how to, aim at what objective, what was the objective of the company? It was to go to 1,250 crores in 5 years and get an EBITDA of 300 crores.
Yes, sir.
Now, that is the main objective. Does that get achieved? You have to work towards that. In that case, would you expand to other countries or not? You would expand to other countries, because other than that, you'll get some 200 crores turnover or 300 crores turnover only. You'll only get some 300 crores turnover. So you are way off your objective if you do that. Even after you do, you may or may not get there, but once you do only, you'll get closer to the objective. So, I mean, because I think you've not done numbers, so it's been very qualitative, response. So it would be difficult for a company to judge on those responses. So I think this for advice for the future is, when the case is giving you so much of numbers, you need to look into those numbers and then take a call. Okay.
Okay, sure, sir. I will work on that.
Yes.
Anchit, I think this is further to SK sir and Vishwas said. First, I would like to compliment, because even without your colleague, you can make it to do. And broadly, you have gone through the case, and yeah, it looks for any one of us, it's more academic. It's very difficult to judge. But compliments that you have got to come and say what you want to say, and most of it, what you said is also meaningful, but it is, as long as it's not backed by numbers, we can't do. I'm wishing you all the good luck, and but your brevity is really appreciable.
Thank you, sir. That means a lot.
Anchit, were there numbers in the presentation which you had done? You guys said that.
Sir, actually, we have not given the numbers, but we were planning to just explain it when we just give the presentation. But the entire financial part was done by her, because she is from finance background, I was from operations background.
Fair,
So
I understand. And you
did that accordingly.
I presume when she was there, maybe some amount of numbers might have come.
Actually, we had planned on not giving the numbers of presentation, or while explaining it, so that it becomes more clear, and we have some question answers around that.
Fair.
So it was
anyway,
like an idea.
we appreciate your effort. Thank you for coming, and irrespective of your colleague not being there, you wanted to give the best and then did. But I'm sure that what Vishy said, you would have understood what needs to be done. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot for coming. We actually appreciate that you came here despite your colleagues not being able to come here. And yeah, you have understood the problem. We can see that you have gone through it, and you have given an answer to the best of your abilities qualitatively, though we expected more number-based one. So hopefully next time you'll be there in full strength and having crunched all the numbers with a really solid solution. Yeah. Good luck, and look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Anchit.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Team 1. We have a special education AV from Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund.
Life is like cricket. When you get thrown a googly, how you bat is the difference between hitting a six and getting out. A simple example of a googly in life is your laptop crashing while you're working on an important business presentation. If you're smart and prepared, you should have your files backed up on the cloud and should recover from this loss quickly. If you are not prepared, you will have lost years of work. A complicated googly is the 2020 pandemic that shut the world down and disrupted businesses and economies globally. If you already had an online business module or quickly added one, you continued to work like normal. If you didn't, you probably struggled. As organizations, as employees, we try to plan for unexpected situations that could disrupt work. But as an individual, are you prepared to handle googlies like a medical emergency, a natural disaster, a recession, or another pandemic without draining your savings and generating a mountain of debt? If your answer is no, then it is time to set up a contingency fund that can handle life's googlies. What is a contingency fund? Like the name suggests, it is a fund that may help you survive in an emergency. A contingency fund may give you breathing room if your salary isn't paid or if you lose your job. You may not be stumped on how to pay your child's school fees, utility bill and EMI, or worse, if you can put food on the table. How does a contingency fund help in these situations? Well, a good contingency fund is seeded with 6 to 9 months' salary. Do not panic. Yes, that's a lot of money. But you don't need to have it today. You will accumulate it slowly over time. All you have to do is stay committed and only use the fund for true emergencies. This means no spending it to upgrade your phone when it still works or using it to fund that spontaneous friend's trip. How to create a contingency fund? Think of a contingency fund as a systematic investment for unexpected situations. Step 1. Set up a contingency fund account. It can be a savings account, a liquid fund account, or any other type. Just make sure it is relatively safe, easy to access, and separate from your regular savings account. After all, you don't want to spend it accidentally. Step 2. Set achievable targets. When you are playing a match, you don't reach 400 runs on the first ball or even the first over. You keep your team motivated by setting smaller targets that will help you achieve the desired outcome. Similarly, set yourself smaller targets. Once you reach it, raise the bar higher until you have collected at least 6 months' salary. Step 3. Make your contingency fund a part of your financial plan. Analyze your existing income and expenses and find areas which can be tightened to give you a winning outcome. This should ensure you aren't struggling or forgetting to meet your targets every month. Step 4. Set up an automatic systematic contingency fund process. Start an auto debit to transfer your budgeted amount into your contingency fund account. Remember to increase the amount as your salary and expenses grow. Step 5. Replenish your systematic contingency fund. Every time you dip into your contingency fund, make sure you replenish it. This will ensure you are financially prepared to take on the next emergency, if any. Follow these steps with an aim to build a fund that could sustain your quality of life during an emergency. Start today and aim to be prepared to manage any googly that life may bring. An investor education and awareness initiative of Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
I invite Team 2 to present their case solution.
Good morning. Welcome to the event and quick introduction of the jury. We have Mr. K.S. Rao of the Aditya Birla Capital Group. And,
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Then we have Ms. Lokeshwari. She's the heads the data vertical for Businessline.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Then we have Vishwadeep Koila, who has her own
Hi.
marketing consultancy, and he's the one who set the tough case for the semi-finals. He's an IMA alumnus. And we have
Good morning,
Mr.
sir. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Sivakumar is a well-known executive coach, and he's also part of today's jury. Right, so I think you can start your presentation now and start sharing your screen.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Good morning, everyone. We are here to present our case study. Sustainability is no longer about doing less harm. It's about doing more good. The founders of Environmental Technologies Private Limited started the company for the purpose of doing good to the society through their innovative products and services. Moving on to the objectives, the company as a whole should start concentrating on entering the B2C segment and to focus on producing environmentally safe products. It is impervious for the company to encourage a socially and environmentally educated clientele. There's no point in creating a market if the clients do not appreciate the sustainability of the products. Having focused on the online segment of the market, the company as a whole should start encouraging offline sales and building their brand image. The company is known for their presence on the online market, but for the offline sales, it is necessary for them to build their brand value and the face value. So the next point is to raise funds to expand and fuel growth. Having considered their shift to the European markets, I believe that we believe that it is necessary for them to raise their funds to fuel their growth. One of the main objectives should be to create a sustainable brand that can compete with other major players in the market, and to create a brand that makes being sustainable a necessity rather than a luxury. So the market stats, so we'll move on to the market stats. For the pulp and paper and chemicals industry, the total market is somewhere around 90,000 crores, but the addressable market is 14,400 crores. But we'll be able to address almost 100 mills where they can be manufactured. And moving on to the textile and chemicals industry, the total market is rupees 3,000 crores, and the addressable market will be around 1,950 crores. We'll be able to address the mills, address 600 mills. So we'll move on to the research study conducted by various organizations across the globe. Hive Brand in the study found out that 1.67% of the shoppers said that they were aware of their environmental responsibility, but only 19% are extremely committed to the practice. And from the consumer's point of view, Deloitte found that consumers believe the 5 most important sustainable practices are waste reduction, reducing carbon footprint, sustainable packing, ethical working conditions, and respect for human rights. In 100 plus countries have policies on sustainable consumption and production. This was found by UN Sustainable Development Goals report. While studying the buyer and consumer behavior, we found out a variety of choices that they've made. 53% of the shoppers believe that providing products and services that help simplify their lives are very important. Similarly, 50% of the consumers believe offering clean products is very important. 46% believe that providing products with health and wellness benefits usually top their scale, and 45% 45% of the consumers feel that sustainable and environmentally responsible products are very important for the market. 44% believe that it is necessary to support recycling, and 41% give their highest preference and choice in using organic ingredients.
So moving on to the product, there was a question that was put forth whether the industry should concentrate more on the industrial products or along with the consumer product as well. So what we infer is that the company has to look into both industrial and consumer product. The reason why is that consumer products are final consumption, that is a finished product. So it always satisfies the needs and wants of the customers. So there are more utility for a consumer product, and is also associated with warranties and guarantees, because that acts as an interesting tool to attract the consumers. And also it focuses on individual and families. So more the number of families in a particular community or population, the chances for them to buy the consumer products are more. And also there are a lot of elastic demand, that is especially for the consumer product, because it's a finished product and people tend to buy it more, and it's also fast moving. And also we should work on building the brand trust. That is an important aspect that we need to work on, because it's going especially environmental technology kind of a product focuses more on people who are upper class and more educated people. So we need to work on individuals who are not that aware of the environment. We need to educate them, and also bring in awareness among the society, that we can work more on the environmental product, the consumer product as well. So the inferred timeline that we would like to suggest is 1 year. So by increasing the consumer product production, we can bring in more profit to the company and also attract more investor thereby. So there was also a question that was put forward whether it is economical or capital efficient to first exhaust market in India, or is it more efficient to look for markets abroad? So what we like to infer is that given the present situation in the world, that is the global recession that is happening because of strengthening of US dollar and weakening of Indian rupee, in a situation like that, for an Indian company to expand or look for ways to invest abroad is not very feasible. And given the population of India has more population when compared to the stands highest population among the other countries in the world, and the potential buyer, the potential target customers are more in India when compared to the outside world. So it is better for the company to invest more right now in the Indian market and attract and bring in ways or advertising or marketing strategy through digital marketing and focus on the current population in India and bring in more profit as well. So from the stats, you can see that the world population around 8 billion, and the Indian population is 1.4 billion, and the Europe population is around 7.4 million only. So given the population, we can clearly see that a potential buyer and potential target in India itself, so that the company could work more on working on the Indian market. So coming to the investing, whether the company could focus on the financial investing or the strategic investing plan, we would like to suggest that strategic investing would help the company on a long run, because it's going to give the stability to the company, which is very important. Given the company is an environmental technology and it's looking for product fit and synergy, so strategic investment is a type of an investment that gives assurance to the company. It attracts more investor, especially for research and development kind of an aspect. The company would be more the investor would be more interested to invest in the company, given the company is more towards its environmental friendly and sustainable approach. And so in a long run, that is in a long time run, that is a 5-year path, the company, the investor would be more happy to invest in the company because it's doing good for the society as well. So in order to improve the stakeholder value, we need to increase the revenue growth and have high open margin, that is high open profitable margin, and increase the capital. So the ways in increasing a capital for a sustainable company is through the following aspect that we have proposed through a strategy. So we would like to share the strategy with you. So before I get into the proposed strategy, first we need to look into what the company has been doing so far. And for that, I have a few stats with me. So from the case study itself, we can see that the company was launched in 2012. And they were, for a very long time, they were known to be famous in the textile processing products only. And they had almost 25% distribution of value chain from the textiles itself. But the problem was that was not the right time to launch such environmentally conscious problems. I mean, solutions to the problems existing, because it wasn't very popular. But now the consumers are being more economically and environmental conscious audience, so we need to look into that matters. Also, coming to paper products, they had, first they invested, they got investors from the angel investors, and second with the venture capitalists. And in 2018, they also have categories of both unique products as well as the already drop-in products that are in the market. So the unique products will be our strengths here. And in the paper industry, in 2018, they launched a very unique product that was very biodegradable and has our products here mostly don't have any kind of a toxic release. So it is catering to the needs of climate change and pollution levels as well. And also they did have earnings before tax positive for some times, where they could launch new products in the commercial wing as well. Like we had floor cleaner to liquid detergent and toilet cleaner and glass cleaner. Usually what happens in the market when somebody advertises the product is very organic or very eco-friendly is that consumers don't buy it because they're double the price for the economically, the chemical alternatives that they have. And they already have a big popularity of
5 minutes left.
Okay, sure. They already have this brand image created, so people conventionally go for such products. But the products
through this company are only like 15% higher in their price. So it is not a challenge, but the challenge here would be for the research and development team, because here they have to focus more on the performance. Here the sales are based on performance. So performance based sales means they need time to like finish their testing, and also that will require around 4 to 6 months for including paper and all. So that would be one challenge. And another challenge is because here in India, the middleman and distribution channel is a problem. So that is why they went for exports. But for the recession, we are trying to say that it's better to invest in India for now, for the time being, for 2 periods. And also the company has kind of it has percentage of 25%. It has exhausted its potentials actually. So for the 2 years, 1 or 2 years, I think it's better not to launch any new products, but it can work on the R&D until then. And we have ideas for sustainable financing and sustainably linked bonds, which is the green bonds are now actually growing double more than the equity bonds, because they have this advantage of being maturing. So companies can even refinance depending on the, investors can finance based on the performance of the company later on. And sustainable financing is about using the power of the investment funds. And now the companies with superb sustainable practices are like much less likely to suffer the reputational damage they can face. And it also reduces the risk of remediation if there any damages occur in the future. And when we come to the green bonds and social bonds, they help in mitigating physical transition, and they vouch for long-term sustainability. And obviously they will thus reduce the potential risks and increase in opportunities. And the main tagline that companies are trying to follow is to decarbonize the economy now. So after the COVID-19 phase, actually every company is being environmentally conscious, not just through their CSR activities. They should bring in products which are also economically friendly. Just by causing pollution in one side and using CSR activities to compensate is not a solution here. So that is what the company is trying to do. And sustainable bond market has grown to almost $1 trillion now, and green bonds itself is part of it for over 800 billion shares it has. So that would be one solution. And coming to the products that we have here, packaging might be an issue, sir. So we have ideas of launching and also this microplastic issues there. So reducing the risk of many consumers, like even there were studies showing how plastics are being found in fish bodies or in human blood testing and all. It's all because of this microplastic issue. So if we bring in strategies for improving the packing technology, like it can drastically reduce like almost 3.8 million of greenhouse gas emissions, and 70% of consumers from the study that we saw have actually preferred more economically friendly packaging now. And paper packing, in fact, is actually 9 times more than likely to be recycled more efficiently than plastic recycling. So we are trying to go for that. And also for textile industry, for the fabrics, now there are many alternatives, vegetable and fruit dyes, and also we have this fiber alternatives, which are made from pineapple, hemp fibers, banana fibers, lotus fibers, which are very new to the market. So in the coming 2 years, I feel they will have a very good potential, and they might attract a lot of customers and as well as investors. And yes, so these are the solutions that we have for the coming 5 years. And if you have any questions, we can.
Ishi, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, okay. Having written the case, maybe I'll take the questions first. So actually, I don't have too many questions, but I would want you all to possibly explain as to there was a lot of information given, including data in the case.
Yes,
which talked about what's the kind of likely investments required to enter the other country, market shares that they can gain. And they're very specific questions. The company has very specific requirements from the consulting agency. Is that should they enter other countries? And then if you're telling me no, what made you believe that? Is it just qualitative feeling, or there is quantitative support for that feeling, because we don't get a confidence if you just qualitatively say it. If you put numbers to it and you tell me, yes, this is the reason why this is not advisable, then that makes sense. In all the answers that you've had, you've only given your qualitative feeling and picked some research from various places. So I'm not able to respond and react to your case replies, because I think the important thing for you was to look at the case and figure out what is it this case is trying to test us on. It essentially was that when in real life, when you actually get into work, you will have all kinds of information and data all over the place floating. What you have to do is pick the right information out of the entire mass of information, then look at them and analyze and come up with answers for the strategies. So, but you have to consider information and data. You cannot just ignore that and have a qualitative input for everything, because that's not going to be give confidence to either the board or your bosses. So that's my suggestion, because there's not much to point out. I mean, you all started off talking about sustainability and why sustainability is important. Yes, right. We also mentioned that the company started at a time when sustainability was not so big buzzword, but today it is. So the company has a lot of scope, which is true. But there were specific answers which were looked for in the case, and those 5 questions needed quantitative backing along with your replies. And that's what I was missing.
Yeah.
Rauji, would you like to add?
Yeah, sure. And first of all, my compliments. I mean, it's a fantastic deck to look at. The way, and when you said about the ESG, that deck was showing at the backdrop, I can see all that green plant, and it's fantastic. I think kudos to that synergetic approach on what you are presenting and what kind of deck you brought in. I mean, my compliments to all the 3 of you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's and broadly you have covered very well. I mean, in fact, the way you analyzed the case and looked at the case, and you are bang on, and you've gone little ahead of the case. I look at is you have taken the entire ESG environment, and looks like you're all the great ESG supporters. I'm glad to see that young generation around, and really my compliments. But I have very less questions, and only one question I would like to ask is the first question which is asked you: what is your ask for it? There is this case studies looks fantastic, an academic perspective, but if you are going to be employed there is a first question which talks about is these objectives are really within the given boundaries, is it achievable? For example, if I am an employee of it, my answer is different. If I am an academician, my answer is different. If you are an employee, do you feel is this achievable?
Yes, sir. Working for a company that has a sustainable USP to it, I personally believe that as a company, we should make sustainability not a luxury. Like, people tend to look at sustainability as a very expensive deal. But when we make it our objective to reduce the costing, but promote it as a necessity, we can it'll automatically show on all the other objectives. It'll work on the brand value. It'll help with the funding. So that our main objective is to make it a necessity rather than a luxury.
Thanks, Dia, for that answer. But I have a counter question for it. It is the EBITDA which is looking at there and the revenue which is asked for it. Okay. Will that be possible in the given short span of time with all those boundaries around?
It's already been positive. Sir, it's already been positive, and that's why they were able to launch the commercial products, those 6 products. So if we look at, focusing more on R&D and bringing more innovative products, in the 2 years run, I think it is feasible. It is a possibility. So that is why we had proposed.
Yeah. Thanks, Jacinta, for that optimism. I really appreciate, and all the best to you. Over to SK sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And all the good luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
Loki, you'd like to go ahead?
SK sir, you are on mute.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, SK is talking. Okay, SK.
Sorry. Yeah, your deck was very good as what Mr. Rao was talking about. And just like what Mr. Vishy was also speaking, you look at the fifth question, which is there, can the company maximize the value of stakeholders, right? And there are no numbers. I know that, you have slides which says that today the funds are available. But have you understood what are the funds available? How do I maximize that? To what extent will I be able to maximize it? When do I maximize it? Is it 5 years, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years? And in which is the area that I'm going to maximize from? The number speaks a lot, right? In a college environment, this is fine. This is very good presentation. But when you're coming to a board and making a presentation, first and foremost, they'll say, fantastic, very good presentation, but what about the numbers? Can you open an Excel sheet now? Now start working on the numbers and show it. Then you have a concept, right? That's the only thing just missing, but it's more of an advice, but otherwise, good, well done.
Thank you.
Okay, would you like to?
Yeah, it was a good effort. So my congratulations to all of you on that.
Thank you.
And yeah, you did talk a lot about the sustainability angle, which was good. You did some research on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, my video was not on. Yeah, you did some research on the sustainability and all that. That was very good. But as the other jury members pointed out, more number crunching was required because the first question was whether the objective of the company was achievable. Okay, and the objective was getting a top line of 1,250 crore by 2027 and EBITDA of 300 crore by 2027. So you had to crunch all the numbers, look at all the growth numbers that they are given for each category, and then you had to see whether you could get there. That was your first answer that you had to give us, whether the top line can go to 1,250 from wherever it is now. Okay. So yeah, so that some kind of number crunching had to be done to come to this. Also, there are a lot of small points that had been given in the case itself, which you had to pay more attention to. Okay, like they had said that India, if you just stay in India, the growth would be limited. You had to go outside India. But you are saying that, yeah, given the challenges, it's better to stay in India. That's
So, I mean,
taken.
for just the initial year, I'd be told, ma'am, because company already exhausted its revenue launching products here. So that is why we propose this idea of initially
Yeah, understood.
And
Yeah,
to
that's
that
then
understood.
expanding after getting the
distribution
investment.
was also a problem because distribution and logistics were comparatively more expensive than with India. So the whatever margin the company would make would be lost in distribution and logistics.
Yeah, that is understood. Yeah, but just staying within India because the market share breakup, everything is given, and how the growth is going to be every year, what is the fixed cost, everything. So you had to work out all the numbers before you actually come to a solution out there. Yeah. So next time you just pay more attention to the ask and the numbers and everything. Otherwise, it's a good effort right now. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you, team. Very nice. Good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Team 2. We have another special education AB from Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund.
Benefits of SIP, STP, SWP. Win with SIP. This is Sid. He recently started working and wishes to invest his money in the stock markets. But his salary isn't much and he has only a small sum of money left to invest every month. While he was contemplating on what he could do, his elder sister Reena came to his rescue. An avid investor herself, Reena introduced him to the magic trio of SIP, STP, SWP.
Don't worry, you don't really need a large amount to start investing. You can invest as little as 500 rupees weekly, monthly or quarterly using SIP, that is Systematic Investment Plan in mutual funds. And before you wonder how it could help, let me tell you, a SIP has many advantages. 1. It lets you start small. And when you invest every month, you average your purchasing cost. So, you needn't worry about timing the market. For example, let's assume you invest 500 rupees every month. Given the market volatility, the cost of purchasing a unit of a mutual fund will change every month. Say, in the first month, you may get 40 units for 500 rupees. In the second month, you may also get 25 units for the same amount and perhaps more in the next month, say 45 units. This difference in price averages out over time, giving you the best possible price per unit over time. 2. You not only make your money work, you also make time work in your favor by starting to invest sooner than later. 3. You also benefit from the power of compounding by reinvesting the profits earned from your investments in mutual funds. Let me explain. Suppose you invest 500 rupees per month for a year. In 12 months, you will have invested 6,000 rupees. Let's assume your money grows at 8% during the year. So, your investments will be worth 6,480 rupees at the end of year 1. Now, if you leave the entire amount invested in the fund and continue with your SIP, by the end of the second year, your investment would be 12,480 rupees. That is 6,480 rupees plus 6,000 rupees. But given the 8% returns, you would have earned a profit of 998.4 rupees. And this amount will continue to compound as long as you stay invested.
This is quite enlightening. But sis, I have a doubt. When I get a bonus at the end of the year, how do I invest it? I don't want to take the risk of timing the market.
I'm glad you are catching on, Sid. You just need to be smart with your investments. You can park your bonus in a low-risk debt or liquid fund initially, and then set up a STP, that is a systematic transfer plan, which will transfer fixed amounts from this scheme to other debt and equity schemes regularly and give you all the advantages of a SIP. So you don't have to worry about timing the market. And while the SIPs happen, your money isn't lying idle in your bank. It is earning interest in debt or liquid fund. And just like a SIP, STP allows you to set the duration of your investment period. For example, if you get a 50,000 bonus, you can choose to invest 5,000 in a single scheme or 1,000 in 5 different schemes over the next 10 months. You can make this choice based on what goal you wish to achieve.
You have a solution for everything. I have one more question though. I can keep my investments going every month, but how can I withdraw, say after 10 years, without the hassle of timing the markets?
Well, Sid, this one is easy too. Let's assume you are investing for your retirement funds. Once you retire, you can turn your SIP into a SWP, that is a systematic withdrawal plan, and get a fixed income at regular intervals. So if you need 25,000 rupees per month to meet your expenses, you can set up the SWP to deposit 25,000 rupees into your bank account every month or 75,000 rupees every quarter. SWP gives you the flexibility to choose. A SWP not only aims to give you protection against market volatility, it keeps your money working for you. So, you see, when you SIP, STP or SWP, you aim to win on multiple levels, today as well as tomorrow.
An investor education and awareness initiative of Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
I invite Team 3 to present their case solution.
So welcome team, welcome Pratik, Jay and
Ankit, sir.
Ankit. Welcome to the 6th edition of the Boardroom Challenge. To quickly introduce you to, I'm Vinay Kamath of the Hindu Businessline, and to introduce you to the jury members today, we have Mr. K.S. Rao of the Aditya Birla Group.
Hi, all the best.
We have Ms. Lokeshwari of data editor of the Hindu Businessline. Then we have Vishwadeep Koila, who's runs his own marketing consultancy, Brand Vectors, and who's also set the case for you today. And we have Mr. Sivakumar, who's a well-known executive coach. So these are your jury members for today. So you have to satisfy them with your presentation. Right. So all the best, and you can go ahead with your presentation, Ankit.
All the best.
Yeah, thanks a lot, sir. I'll just share my screen. Yeah, so hi all. So this is team 3. So we are going to deliver the ETPL growth strategy. So actually we have divided whole of the segment into 3 verticals. That is textile chemicals. Second is the paper and pulp industry, and third is the consumer vertical. So I would be delivering the one for the textile chemicals. So we have done a SWOT analysis so as to show how and where we can do the expansion policy because of the strengths we have, the threats we can get from that particular industry with respect to expansion, and the opportunities we have for expanding ourselves. So coming on to the strengths part, the thing which is more eminent in this thing is it is producing 100% biodegradable and safe to use products. Because of that thing, we can save a lot of energy and water resources, which is more beneficial when it comes to renewable energy sources and natural resources. Third is, as it is known as a textile industry for long, that is for 6 years, we have relatively made a brand of ourselves. Now coming on to the weakness, as we studied the case, we got to know that margins are quite low and mostly export oriented, because all the big brands out of the country are much more interested to do the sustainability project, while rest others wants to do if there would be cost benefit. Only then they want to deliver into these products which can be eco-friendly. Second is R&D. R&D for this type of projects, so as to increase the beneficial and sustainability, we have to increase more of R&D cost, which is right now a little bit less feasible for the company because of the newer structure. Now the product adoption cycle is very long because each bigger branch has to take 60 days for doing all the R&D checkup for the particular chemical. And the distribution channel is dispersed because all the middlemen used to get a lot of benefit than the others, the manufacturers. So what are all the opportunities our company has? First is, as it is going to 100% biodegradable and safe to use products, government is going to go green from now on. As we have seen COVID scenarios, we have seen a lot of disruptable thing for our health. Government wants to go green, and these rising health concerns have provoked many people to use safe products. Third is, obviously we have seen in many more stores that whenever big brands follow some steps, small brands try to copy them. And that's what here we can take the opportunity of that. Big brands will try to use this opportunity for their sustainability, eco-friendly products. And at the end, small brands will try to copy them. So what are the threats we have? Currently, we all know that everywhere it is recession news going on, and whole of the country, not the whole of the country, whole of the world is going into a particular recession by 2023. And second is cost. If we go into eco-friendly nature, cost is one barrier which you get because those are the small brands who check about cost, then go into eco-friendly ones. Third is low differentiating products, which makes it highly competitive. So we went for the expansion financial analysis for each and every country. We don't want to dive into China because obviously it is because of political reason. We never know when we're gonna start a war, and we don't want to disrupt our finances over there. And also China is very much per capita income on China is very less, and we can see the EBITDA forecast is very less in China. It is negative. So we want to exhaust our resources in India first because we can see exponential growth in EBITDA. Second, if we are planning to, depending upon the investors, which we'll talk later, depending upon that, we are trying to expand our expansion into Bangladesh, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Pakistan. As we can see here, that Bangladesh has been increasing the EBITDA in positive by 2026, and same as Malaysia. But in Pakistan, we can see an exponential rise starting from 2025. And this is the report. If judges want, then we can show it in the later stages, the full financial report. Now coming on to recommendation part, what we want to recommend for the textile industry thing is selection of appropriate distribution channel so that profits can be encouraged for manufacturers, not the middlemen. Now every state has got different policy makers for them, and every state is known for its different pollution policies. Delhi has been known as the highest in that, so we can converse with different state policy makers who is to promote awareness, which can increase our production. Now, government is trying to go green, so they can raise zero interest funds from them focusing more on R&D with multiple textile mills to be ready with placing orders, because the adoption period is 60 days, so we can decrease that 60 days ka period. And standardizing of raw materials, because big brands, they need good products to showcase their brand. So we need to have standardized raw materials for that. Now, Jay will be speaking more about the pulp industry.
Ankit, can you please confirm if I'm audible?
Yeah, yes, Jay.
Okay, so hello everyone. I will talk about how company can grow in the pulp and paper chemical vertical. So the company started in 2018 in this paper chemical vertical. So they have started with a bleach booster, which they have a differentiated product other than the different normal chemicals that are available into the actual market. So the strengths are like they have a differentiated product which actually improves the quality of the overall paper and reduce the overall usage of the harsh chemicals. And they actually got the positive response in the Indian market in starting 2-3 years, and they turn into EBITDA positive in Indian market. And this product also reduced the overall cost because of the low usage of the overall total chemicals in the paper production. Also it increases the paper quality. And so there are some weaknesses because they are not in this vertical. Payment comes after the agreed performance, though their R&D team is still focusing on the improving the product quality so they can give a guaranteed performance. So they didn't explore the foreign market yet, so very low export potential based on the given data, and less reach in the Indian market based on the given data that 100 out of the 100 addressable meals, they have reached only 30 meals, and they were only large meals only, so highly dependence on the large meals. And third will be the high receivable days. In paper industry, they have average of 90 days receivable days, which is very higher compared to the 30 days payable days. And talking about the opportunities, they should go into the, they should improve the new, they should launch new products into the specialty coating and pigment segment. Currently company don't have any product in this specialty coating and pigment segment because they have zero products in that. But if we see the market of these two segment in the paper production, it is used like around 50%. So second thing is, based on the given data, it shows that there is a 80% CAGR growth in EBITDA from 2024 to 27. So in India, they can explore more, and then they can think about the foreign market. And one opportunity is there that company should approach the government to change some climate change related policy, something about the production linked incentive that is available only for those paper manufacturers which uses environment friendly products to produce the paper. So that kind of policy change will force this manufacturer to use our company's product. And there are some threats also, like higher dependency on large mills, as I talked about. Like companies already major chunk of the revenue is getting from the large mills only, so there is higher dependence. And due to the differentiated innovation and all, they are incurring high R&D costs as of now. And there is a product performance challenge as of now. R&D team is working on that. They have to figure it out. Next. So we have made some financial calculation based on the different country and India. So we found out that in India, the EBITDA forecast is exponential. Starting from the second year, EBITDA is turning positive and growing exponentially. But in any other country, it's becoming loss, except Middle East. In Middle East, from third year, EBITDA is turning positive, and it's growing very steadily. So we suggest that like after 1 year or 2 year, depending on the fund requirement in Middle East, they can explore the Middle East. After they can, as of now, they should focus on Indian market only. Next. Okay, so some of the suggestions we want to make to the company, like a company should approach the Indian government for the policy change to mandate the use of these products that our company produces, which are environment friendly, which improves the paper quality also, and reduce the overall usage of the harsh chemical. Because currently in India, paper industry is in bleaching process mainly. It produces many harsh chemicals, and they just remove that chemical into the river and all. So there is a water pollution. There is, so by that we can approach to the policy makers. They can mandate this use of these products. And second thing is to invent new products and for the pigment and specialty coating segment, because they only have product for the two manufacturing process, and pigment and specialty coatings, they have zero product as of now. So which is the big opportunity they can explore. And third last suggestion is that they are only exploring large mills as of now, and in India there are so many small scale paper industry they can explore. So focus on MSME would be the topmost priority for this company. It will give the higher reach in the Indian market first. Okay, so next consumer market segment will be explained by Pratik.
Yeah, hi Ankit, am I audible?
Yes, Pratik.
Yeah, so proceeding with the consumer vertical, the company is trying to pivot away from being a B2B company to being a B2C company. And some of the strengths that it is trying to leverage in this is that it has a long history of manufacturing expertise in such products. It has obtained a Green Pro certification that shows that its products are actually eco-friendly. And the products are not very expensive compared to the traditional products, only being 15-20% expensive. So they do not pinch your pocket as well. And currently, even though the company has been operating for a year in this vertical, the products are well received by consumers. The weaknesses that the company is going to run into is that the company's consumer brand is little known, and people usually try to prefer brands that they know about. The sales, they rose sharply, but then were stagnant in the online channel. The offline pilot in Chennai suffered from low penetration as well, wasn't very successful. And very importantly, the investors are not very convinced by the pivot from B2B to B2C. So what are the opportunities that might be there? There is an increasing awareness of eco-friendly products, especially among the younger generation, which we seek to target. So the target market is generally Gen Z and millennials, and they are more eco-friendly and more focused on such products. So we might pitch our products to them. And India has a huge market of millennials and Gen Z population in the world, the largest, in fact, at 850 million people. And middle class population rapidly is increasing, which is not so focused on price, is not so price conscious, but also wants functionality and something that we can show. So if we look at the CAGR of our sales growth via the online channel, which we have calculated and is in our financial report, then the CAGR is 105%, which is excellent, and the EBITDA is 121%. Both of this offer excellent growth projections for our company that can increase our valuation multiples significantly. Coming to, we have done a comparison between the online and offline channels. So absolute EBITDA comparison shows that the offline channel might be better, but what is important for a startup is that margins are important. And if you look at the operating margins, then the offline channel is significantly poorer compared to the online channel because we are a startup. And also our investors are not too keen on expanding into a B2C business. We have to go with an alternative that is less cost and offers good margins. And because of this, we are proceeding with the online channels only. And the offline channels have been unsuccessful, as we saw in the pilot. We will use these funds and invest it in advertising. Next slide, please. Coming to our recommendations, we'll be focusing only on the online distribution channel. We'll be competing in a focused range of 6 to 9 products rather than expanding the range of products every year. For example, there is a company, Jyoti Labs, which manufactures Ujala and is the market leader in that segment. Let's focus on a certain degree of products and have a focused differentiation strategy rather than having a low-cost strategy in which we are trying to compete. And because our target population is Gen Z and millennials, focus heavily on digital marketing, spend on Instagram influencers to have that kind of common touch, offer a discount on future purchases to consumers who buy from e-commerce site and leave 5-star reviews. This is something that we have to do as a startup. And finally, we can make short video advertisements in which we feature doctors who are advertising our product as being eco-friendly and child-friendly. That's all from the consumer vertical.
So yeah, judges. So coming on to the specific question which have been asked, so I'll be answering the second one, which is it more economical or capital efficient to first exhaust? What we thought is like it is more capital efficient for exhausting the markets in India, but just like as we saw in paper industries that we can go into Middle East after 2 years, and for the first vertical, the textile industry, we can go into Bangladesh and Pakistan starting from the next year onwards. Now coming on to the fourth one, should the company look at financial investors? Yes, we are planning to go for financial investor because right now we couldn't dilute our ESOPs and promoters ka value below 35%, and we couldn't arrange for 51% that is required by strategics. So coming to the first, third, and fifth question. Third question will be answered by Pratik, sir.
Yeah, so should the
15
company
minutes
continue with industrial products alone? I disagree with that because we see that the margins are significantly better in the consumer segment. And eventually the company has to pivot to a B2C vertical more and more because we have a huge market in India and we are ignoring it by not addressing the B2C vertical. So yes, it should seriously start to look at consumer products too. And the time frame should be, it should incrementally start to invest in this consumer vertical with a focused differentiation strategy. Now, if we are coming to the fifth question concerns that of fundraise. So we have done projections of the textiles, paper and pulp, and consumer revenues and added all that up to find the firm's total revenue. So based on this, now we have used a price to sales ratio. So we calculated the price to sales ratio for 2022, which was 250 crores for a revenue of 50 crores, and we got a price to sales ratio of 5%. We're assuming that to be constant as the company grows, and we have then taken these revenues, the projected revenues, and based on that, we have calculated the valuation of the company. So based on this, what we believe is that we have to keep our ESOP and promoter stake to above 35%. So what we are wondering is that we can buy back 10% of the shares from the early investors at the 2022 valuations. So 10% will come out to be 25 crores. Then we can sell 17% stake, 10% of the shares that we bought back and 7% fresh issue from our own stake at the valuation of P by S, the price to sales ratio of 2023, which yields us 51 crores. We can do the same thing next year, buy back 10% of the shares in the early investors at the 2023 price to sales valuation, which will cost us 30 crores, and sell 16% stake, 10% of the shares we bought back and 6% that is left at 123 crores. That is at the price to sales ratio of 2024. So the total fund raise will be 174 crores, and the net total financing, which is the money that we have raised minus the total buyback cost, will come up to be 119. So our net corporate fund requirements for R&D expansion is 78. So remaining funds for general corporate purposes will be 41 crores, which we can use for expanding into more markets or for advertising and other things. So finally, coming back to the first question, which is, are we meeting our objectives? I think that the kind of objectives that the company have set are quite ambitious, and based on the projections that we have done, which is to satisfy and maximize shareholder value, I believe it is not possible to meet those objectives, at least in the short run. So we are having a gap of around 40 to 50% from those objectives. So we have to have a balance between how much risk the company can take and be sustainable and also ensure growth. So based on this, I think that those objectives are a bit difficult to achieve. Yeah, so that's about it.
So that's all, judges, from our side. We are open to any questions.
Yeah, you can unshare it, please.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So Vishay, you'd like to go ahead with your questions?
Yeah.
Yes, I would. So I'm smiling because I'm extremely happy with the way you have dealt with the case and analyzed this. Brilliant is the word. You guys have first, I love the fact that you went straight on to your recommendations and answers, didn't go about repeating case facts. So that's one of the biggest mistakes most team make. they spend 5 minutes of their presentation on case facts, and then they are left with very little to present. So great. Yes, your SWOT was also pretty insightful, that you looked at what are the strengths. Good thing that I figured out was that you've looked at every aspect which was questioned in the case, as to what kind of information was made available, even to the level of how much ESOP dilution they want, what kind of EBITDA levels, and where the fund requirement is. If you really ask me, I think you've nailed it exactly. All your answers were perfect. Yes, the company cannot achieve the objective of 1,250 crores. They're close to it. Will only be close to 50%, but you can maximize still the value within that. I think is brilliant. I only thing I would point out is, when you are going for maximization here, there was an online and offline, and you said you'll only go with online. But if you look at overall companies' objectives, the EBITDA and other things generated by offline is still better than some of the businesses in the B2B segment. So if you take offline also, then you would be reaching a little larger target, because at the end of 5 years, you have about 120 crores of revenues from consumer sales. If you don't do online, you will be left with 70 crores or 65, 70 crores only of thing. So you would lose about 50, 60 crores. And when it is told that the consumer business gives 3 times more EBITDA multiple, turnover multiples on the valuation. So therefore, if you go down by 60 crores in revenues, you go down by 180 crores equivalent of valuation. So for that purpose, you would consider both online and offline on consumer products. Besides that one point, I think you all have nailed everything perfect to the T. So brilliant. Congratulations. Loved your presentation.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir.
Great work, guys. Very hard to please Vishy. So, Rauji?
Yeah. And my compliments again. I fully agree with what Vishy sir was telling, and kudos to you, Pratik, Jay, and Ankit. The number crunching to get the things right, and presenting on time, and doing little beyond what case is asked, including bit of a marketing strategy too. And only one area where I was a little either baffled or where Ankit was talking about expansion strategy, Pakistan and Bangladesh, and when Pratik spoke, he mentioned about India centric is the best way. Is it for the 2 different products you thought, or is it?
Yes, sir. Mine was for the vertical, textile vertical, and he was talking about consumers part. So we have divided all the 3 verticals between ourselves.
Fantastic. Then all the best. It's a fabulous job.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Would like to ask some questions?
Excellent work, guys. Very good teamwork. Very systematic, very well planned of how to divide the 3 verticals, and each one taking responsibility. And even the questions you guys have divided and very clearly made. The only thing which I had in mind, which she has clearly explained to you about it, the offline part of it, I want to know what is the numbers you worked on, why you are not recommending offline. But I think she has clearly explained to you how it works out and what can be done. Great work, fantastic. I have nothing more to say. Great job.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Brilliant. Keep up this. I think if you all can solve this case at your business school level itself, you guys have got great future. Keep it up.
Yeah, thanks a lot, sir.
Lokesh, has some questions. Loki, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
My compliments, guys. It was really good. Excellent. You just went through the whole case very thoroughly, and I could see the way you put the SWOT together, that you had addressed everything, all aspects of it. And the answers were also to the point, what was expected. Yeah, and also I like the way that you went about looking at giving suggestions about the kind of policies, how you should approach the government, what needs to be done, go to the FSME. You went a little beyond the case itself, how to expand each product segments and all that. One thing I couldn't go through, you went a little fast about the buyback part of it. How do you propose to fund that buyback? You kept saying that you'll be buying back the shares in the first and second year. Just run me through it quickly if you can.
You can take our firm has currently turned EBITDA positive. So we were thinking about taking on a little bit of short-term debt in order to
Oh, it's
fund
a
these
debt, is
capital
it? Yeah,
purchases.
I was just thinking there's no cash. So how are you going to fund the buyback? Yeah, it's a debt.
No cash. So we are assuming that the cost of capital will be around 15% for a short-term loan. So we can take that for a year, fund these purchases, and then pay the loan back at the end from the proceeds, because we have 41 crores left at the end of even after meeting our corporate expansion, R&D, and other things. So we can use that in order to fund this debt, put it into a sinking fund, and then fund the debt from that.
Okay. So with all this, what is your top line revenue going to be at 2027?
Yeah. So at 2027,
given your strategy?
yeah, our estimation is that the top line revenue should be around 590.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, guys. Good
No,
job.
that was a
Really
very this point, Lokeshwari, because I think something you all missed is that specifically mentioned that because the company has just turned EBITDA positive, there are very few options of debt. That was mentioned in the case. So I was also a little surprised that you're talking about the buyback of those shares, which was not actually necessary. You can just delay the fundraise by 1 year. If you don't raise the fund in the first year, but in the second year, some of the expansion will get pushed by 1 year, but you'll still achieve about 650 to 700 crores. Only if you go both online and offline, because if you don't do the online, then you'll miss some 50-60 crores there by the end of the fifth year. So that maybe you all should just go back and think once again whether how you worked on that. But otherwise, everything else was perfect.
So the reason I did not go for the offline sales was that I felt that the distribution channels of existing established players like HUL and Reckitt Benckiser, who are our main competitors, are already very firmly established and fortified. So if we had been going for strategic investors, we might have looked at distribution channels and all, because offline sales projections are a bit, even in the case it was given that the company itself doubts the figures given by the consumer vertical team. So offline seems like a safer bet rather than, fine, offline has better numbers, but numbers don't tell the entire story. That's what I feel.
I agree with you, completely agree with you. That's the qualitative aspect which you have given. That's also important. That's important that, numbers, projections are fine, but whether you're going to achieve those numbers is also an important issue. Good, great. Thank you, team.
Thank you.
Good job, guys.
Thanks a lot, guys.
I was just curious, have you guys come into MBA with some WorkX?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So how many of you have got WorkX?
All three.
All three have, sir.
Yes.
All of us.
In finance
shows.
or?
I worked in a bank.
So I was from tech.
And Jay?
I was in B2B sales.
Right. And Pradeep?
Fantastic.
I worked in a bank as in Forex.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Good.
All the best.
Good job. I think very confident presentation.
Yes.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
All the best.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, sir.
All the best.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Team 3. We have a special educational AV from Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund.
Nivesh Fables presents Choose Your Advisor Wisely.
There were two rabbits. Willy was the wise one and Fred was not so wise. They were walking through a field and came upon two carrots. Fred excitedly rushed and picked up a carrot, but it was smaller than it looked. He was confused, so Willy said, "Judging a carrot by its leaves is not the right way." After walking for some time, they came across another set of carrots. This time, Willy chose the carrot first. Fred thought, "How come the carrot with smaller leaves is small?" Willy replied, "I do not judge a carrot by its leaves." For the third time, they found 2 carrots again. Willie pulled out 1 carrot and offered it to his friend. Fred was still confused and said, "I don't know how you do it, but I guess you're just smarter than me." "Fred, I may have the wisdom, but I share it with others and help them benefit from it too. You're my friend, you trust me, and I want you to have this carrot." In real life, while making investment decisions, don't we all look for an advisor like Willie, who wouldn't just look at the leaves superfluously, but analyze, inspect, understand the investments thoroughly, and suggest the right one for us? Someone who we can trust our hard-earned money with. As they say, if you look for a financial advisor, look for someone with the heart of a teacher and the soul of a friend. Have you found yours? An investor education and awareness initiative of Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
We will now have the comments for each team's presentation, followed by announcement of the winners for today's round.
Yeah, the presentations were very good. Thank you so much, Vinay, for inviting me to be part of this jury. It was once again a very interesting session. And thanks a lot, Mr. Koila, for such a mind-bending case, as Vinay calls it. I had to go through it about 2 to 3 times before I really understood all the numbers and everything. But the teams did a very good job, I think. They did go through everything and they did come up with solutions to the best of their abilities. And of course, the best team won. And one team really surprised all of us with the way they had crunched everything and met all our expectations. And you'll hear all about it when Mr. Rao talks about it. So wishing this edition of BLoC Boardroom Challenge all the best to all the winners. Thank you.
Thank you. Vishy, you want to go ahead?
Yep. Yeah. First of all, I think must say congratulate the teams for attempting and doing the level of analysis that they did, because as Loki has been mentioning, this has been a very different case this time, more on corporate strategy and doing numbers in a very different way. So it was not about just market shares or growing or how to deal with communication or how to deal with advertising monies. I would say the teams understood, some of the teams actually took the effort of working on the data, and the people who did take effort in working on the data, they surprised us by their analysis and their understanding of the case. To be very honest, it's so early in the competition, I wasn't expecting such great analysis coming from teams. I was expecting as it grows, but it was wonderful to see a particular team do excellently well in doing the analysis and coming up with solutions which were brilliant. So expecting a lot more brilliant presentations coming up in the coming days, and wishing everybody all the best. I'm enjoying being here, not just writing the case, but also being here, listening to the presentation.
Thank you, Vishy. SK?
Yeah. When I saw the case and I was reading the case, I was wondering how these students are going to really look at it, because we understand from the kind of questions that is raised. But quite surprised today, and people have understood the case. And of course, the presentations were good. Good teamwork was there within the team. But if one team really went into the case, really took us by storm. Let me, if I can use the term, and really proved themselves who they are, what they are. And I'm sure that this is a surprise for all of us, and I hope that all the other teams that are coming in the week tomorrow or the weeks next will also surprise us similarly, and we'll have the challenge of selecting the right person, right, to do it. And I wish you all the best, and my days are there to go ahead. We'll see how the whole thing goes. Thank you.
Thank you, SK. So Rauji, you can round up your comments by saying Team 3 is the winner today and that is I am Trichy. You can.
Once again, thanks Vinay and the Businessline team for having me here. And I also need to thank Vishy sir for setting up such a complicated case. Indeed, for me, it took some time to grasp and understand because it's not just a simple case. You can understand the balance sheet and get back to the answers and give some strategy. It is you need to be logical, you need to have a reasoning, and you need to predict and think differently. It is one of the most complicated cases I have seen of the last 3 years. This is the most complicated one, and very glad to see the teams coming up to that and giving the right solutions. And teams were analyzed on various parameters. It could be their understanding of the case and their analysis of the case, coming with the right solution, and the way they presented and what kind of teamwork has gone. And looking at this perspective, two of the teams have done fairly great job, and very glad with it. And one of them are exceptionally good taking all the data around and analyzing the right data crunching. I mean, whether it is not only the solution, but also have gone little beyond the case to get that case understanding. Our compliments to I am Trichy for being the winners for the today's round. And I wish all the good luck for the next cities to come from tomorrow. And I'm sure it is going to be an exciting time. But being on the jury, you think sometimes these boys and girls will truly surprise you. You can't even think that they come with such solutions. It's phenomenal, and glad to be here. And all the good luck for I am Trichy for their final rounds.
Thank you, Mr. Rao. So that brings us to the end of the Chennai round of the BL Boardroom Challenge. Thank you, all jury members, and thank you to all the B schools for participating. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for watching. This is Businessline on Campus Boardroom Challenge 2022.